Okay, so this video is my e-bike buying guide for 2022. So this video is going to be structured into 4 main categories I'm going to quickly go through. Beginning with mid-drive, then we're going to go to budget, followed by popularity. This is what you're going to see people riding most often, and I definitely think that holds some kind of weight to it. And then finally, we're going to finish the video off with some good, high-quality DIY e-bike conversion kits. So let's do this. Okay, so I got my notes right here, but first things first, we have to ride on the highway. You know what I hate? All these businesses here, the only way for people and employees to access them is through highway. No bike lane, no sidewalk. It's all strictly designed for the automobile. And that needs to change. But that's a topic for a different video. Today is all about the e-bike buying guide of 2022, beginning with the Prodigy from Ride 1 Up. This comes in at around $2,300. There's actually 3 different models. Look at that guy on a bike. He gets it. So yeah, the Prodigy, 3 different models to choose from, $2,300. It's mid-drive, and this is the budget mid-drive offering. I know it doesn't really sound like budget, but for mid-drives, it kind of is. In terms of top speed, we're talking 28 miles per hour with 90 newton meters of torque. So that's one of the huge advantages of mid-drives. They are very torquey. They benefit from the gears of the bike. That car was way too close to me. And because of that, we're going on this bike path. There we go. I feel much more safe already. Yeah, but continuing with the specs, the battery is 36 volts, 14 amp hours. Yeah, it's a little bit weak, but it is mid-drive. It's supposed to be more pedal assist, not a full-on motorcycle like I tend to do. So because of that, the range is actually pretty decent. On the website, I think it's quoted at like 30, 40 miles of range. What else here? Oh yeah, and it does have some nice actual bike components. So one of the models has an air front suspension fork. Pretty nice, you don't see that too often. And it has hydraulic disc brakes. Okay, so that's the budget mid-drive. If you want like a real top-end mid-drive, that's gonna be the Luna X2 Enduro. This is the same company that sells the Suron, so it's pretty reputable and well-known. This bike is not cheap. It's $4,200 in price, and that's before shipping and taxes. This is rocking the Bafang M60 motor, which is very high quality. But Luna goes a step further on a lot of their bikes, and they do a custom tuning on the controller. And because of that, the website says that it goes up to 2,500 watts of total power. What else? The battery is 48 volts, 17.5 amp hours. And then my final note here is that all of the components of this bike are high quality downhill mountain bike components. So it is full suspension, and it has RockShox suspension front and rear straight out of the box. Of course, it has hydraulic disc brakes, and I'm going to leave the full spec list and information for all of these bikes linked down below, as well as Amazon links to the stuff that's on Amazon, and those will be affiliate links. So if you end up buying anything with my link, I will get a small kickback, and it helps to support what I do here. Okay, and then my final note here on mid-drives is to do it yourself. So you can pick up the Bafang BBSHD mid-drive motor. This is 1,000 watts, very powerful, and you can put it on essentially any bike that has a bottom bracket from 68 millimeters to 120 millimeters. It is a little bit expensive. On Amazon, it's like $700 this motor. Again, I'll leave a link down below. But if you already have a regular bike or even an e-bike and you want to add a second motor to it, this is a great way to do it, and it's pretty high quality. Bafang makes great products. And yeah, this is probably the most cost-effective way to get a mid-drive motor. Okay, so that's that category. The next one here is budget. And I have 3 names on this list, and they all happen to be folding bikes. And the first bike here on the list is the foundation of my build, the Crooked Path e-bike, and it's currently selling for about $1,600. $1,200. And I'm not trying to be biased here all because this is my bike. I honestly think this is one of the best values on the market, and I made a whole dedicated video explaining my logic behind that. But I mean, if you think about it, this bike is sub $2,000. It's full suspension, it's fat tire, it has a Bafang 750 watt motor, it has high quality metal fenders front and back, a rear rack straight out of the box, along with hydraulic disc brakes. I think this is a fantastic value. But alas, if you're not a fan of this, the Lunacycle folding bike is another great option. It's actually a little bit cheaper, $1,400, but there are some trade-offs here. So you do sacrifice the fenders, the rack, the hydraulic disc brakes, and I think even a few other features in exchange for a Gates belt drive. So depending on the person, that's going to dictate which one of these bikes is a better fit for you. And then finally, I can't exclude electric. They're the OG when it comes to, affordable folding e-bikes. And they have a relatively new model, the XP Lite, which is sub $1,000. It doesn't have the best components. It has a very small battery, small motor, but it is a full-fledged e-bike and it comes from a reputable company, so that's another great cheap option. Okay, now that brings us to the final category, which is popularity or groupthink, depending on how you want to view this. But I do think there's a lot of value in this category, and I've collected this data from watching numerous group ride videos on YouTube from New York City to LA. And these are the three main bikes that I see people riding, as well as buying them to modify. So the bikes are the Aerial Rider X-Class in particular, but really the whole lineup from that company is really top-notch. So that includes the D-Class, the Grizzly, and the X-Class. If I had to pick just one that I see most often, it's without a doubt the X-Class. In fact, this is the bike that my friend bought a couple months ago, and he absolutely loves it. He's already done a couple of upgrades to the bike, but he wants to do a lot more, including getting a second 52-volt battery. I just rode it in my last video, actually, and it's a fantastic bike. And it comes in at what is it right now, $2,400? And the X-Class actually just received a refresh too. So it has things like a new headlight, but the big change here is that the battery capacity is slightly bigger. So it went from 18 amp hours to 20 amp hours at 52 volts. Okay, and then the next one here is the Sur-Ron. This has been exploding in popularity. It is expensive, it's $4,500. And the legality of it, and even the classification as an e-bike, is a little bit questionable. It's a gray zone, but there's no doubting the raw power capabilities and popularity of this bike. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here about what the Sur-Ron is. There's tons of content about it. It is a mid-drive technically, but it's pretty much just an electric dirt bike. So if you're into that, which if you're being honest with yourself, you probably are, that's the bike to get. The standout feature to me is the suspension. I think front and back it has 8 inches of suspension travel. So I mean, that's gotta be one of the most comfortable bikes out there. And because of its popularity, the aftermarket of accessories is quite extensive. So for example, I know the battery is often upgraded in these bikes to 72 volts and a much higher capacity. And then finally, to finish off this category of the most popular bikes to see out there, is the Onyx RCR. And again, I have a friend in real life that owns this bike, and it really is awesome. This is, I think, the fastest e-bike. It has a max or a top speed of 60 miles per hour. It's essentially a moped with pedals on it for compliance. And in case you're wondering about the legality of this bike, my friend that has it, he has about 2,000 miles on it, and he's never had an issue with the cops. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, and then the final category here is DIY e-bike conversion kits. Economically, this is often the best way to go, and I'm going to be featuring 3 different kits because depending on what you're trying to build, the existing bike you have, we all need slightly different things, and one of these kits is probably going to fit your needs. So the first one is the NB Power 2000 watt 72 volt e-bike conversion kit. This is what my first e-bike had, and if you have a traditional mountain bike, this is probably the kit for you. And in terms of performance, I have to say, this was an epic build. I had a top speed of about 41 miles per hour. The torque, the acceleration, all of it was exceptional with this build, and the price comes in about $500 just for the kit, and that includes, well, everything you need but the battery. If you want to save money on the battery, I recommend going to Alibaba, because, spoiler, most stuff on Amazon is purchased from Alibaba and then sold for a profit on Amazon, just so you know. Yeah, so that was a great kit. I cannot recommend that one enough. But if you want a fat tire conversion kit, here we have the eBikeling fat tire e-bike conversion kit. This is a somewhat well-known company. They sell on Amazon as well as their own website, so if you're concerned about customer support, you should be able to reach them through email. And in terms of voltage, these are compatible with 48 and 52 volt batteries. And by the way, I'm gonna leave my Amazon shop link down below, and that's just a few different lists I created of different bike accessories, including e-bike kits. So here you're gonna see both the NB Power as well as the eBikeling conversion kit, so it might be worth checking out, and it is an affiliate link. Okay, it just got super dark out and there is rain in the forecast, so getting a little bit concerned here. But to finish off the video, we have the final e-bike conversion kit, and this one's radically different, and it's what I'm rocking right now. In fact, let me show you guys what I'm on. So, as mentioned, Cricket Path e-bike as the foundation, but I'm using the Grin Technology conversion kit, which includes the Frankenrunner, which is in here, and it's just a modified ASI A55 controller, and I have that paired with a 60 volt 19.2 amp hour battery and a Bafang 750 watt hub motor. And the thing that's special about this conversion kit and really the Frankenrunner controller is just how programmable it is. So this Bafang 750 watt motor, I'm currently running it at 1300 watts and 65 phase amps. There's two different versions of the Frankenrunner controller that have different motor connection plugs to help with compatibility. The one I have here has the L10 connector, so that's going to be compatible with most Bafang hub motors. They do sell some adapters on their website to increase the compatibility that much more, but they also have their own lineup of pretty high quality hub motors to choose from. And in terms of voltage, the controller can accept anything from I think 24 volts to 96 volts. And I'm currently running, as mentioned, a 60 volt battery. Oh yeah, and a final benefit of this controller is the size. It's super small, it's inside the down tube of this bike, and the cable management is super easy. So if you want to have a clean bike build, you know, like a minimalist bike build, this might be the conversion path for you. But okay, I gotta speed home now. It is definitely about the downpour. So that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did and you're still watching and you got value out of this video, I appreciate a like. It helps to share the video on YouTube. If this is your first time watching the channel, subscribe so you don't lose track of it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep it real.